talk about buying mobile homes or investing in mobile homes through a self-directed IRA. But I first want to cover a couple basics for the newbies on with us. Welcome, newbies. Let's just talk about what self-direction is. There's a lot of misconception about what self-directed IRAs are and what they do. Now, I learned about self-directed IRAs back in 2012, and I was already in real estate. And the reason why I've been in the business since 2012 is when I first heard that an IRA can buy real estate and an IRA can invest in alternative investments. My mind was blown because I didn't know that. And nobody that I worked with in the real estate world knew about it either. We all had retirement plans. I had a retirement plan at Northwestern Mutual. It was invested in a mutual fund, yet all my knowledge was in real estate. Had I known that I can put those two together, I would probably made a lot more money for myself back in those days in my retirement plan. Had I known I can leverage my knowledge of real estate with my retirement plan. So I kind of just went on a mission to teach more people about how these self-directed IRAs work and really the power in leveraging retirement funds to grow tax-free investing in things like real estate. But as a reminder, everybody here at Directed IRA and everybody on the program, we're not giving you guys investment advice. We're just going to teach you guys about how self-direction works, what types of plans can be self-directed. And you'll find on a lot of our other programs, we do a lot of case studies too. We give you actual stories from actual clients on how they've used their retirement plans to invest in alternative investments and how those play out so that we can give you guys good education so that you make better decisions for yourself. Because when you have a self-directed IRA, the keys are in your hand. We act as the custodian of the assets you want to put in the IRA, but you have to tell us what those investments are. And here's the investments that we commonly see with clients that have retirement plans with us here at Directed IRA. First, if you want to understand what the IRS even allows in a retirement plan, they don't give us a list of investments that are allowed in a retirement plan. They only tell us a short list of investments they don't want in a retirement plan. And when it comes to your IRAs, your 401ks, your 403bs, life insurance contracts and collectibles are the only two things you're not allowed to hold in an IRA. Outside of that, it's fair game. The IRS does not care about what the investment is inside our retirement plan. The only thing is you still have to have a custodian. You have to have a third-party custodian that processes the buys and sales of the investment your retirement plan makes, and then you get your benefit from the distributions you take from the retirement plan. So we do the same things Fidelity and Charles Schwab do. We just do them with different asset classes. If you have an IRA at Fidelity, that IRA is going to be limited to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, or whatever Fidelity sells. It doesn't make them bad guys. They're in nature, they're in the business to sell investments. They sell investment product. They're also a custodian, but they have investments to sell. So they only allow people to hold what they sell. If you asked your Fidelity advisor or your mutual or your stockbroker, hey, I want to buy real estate, I want to buy a rental property, I want to buy mobile homes, I want to do some promissory note investing, some hard money loans, I want to buy an apartment building, I want to invest in a syndication, they'll tell you no, but it's not no by law, it's no, you can't do it at Fidelity. When you have an IRA, directed IRA, first of all, the IRAs themselves are the same. They're all governed by the same set of rules. But our account agreement with our clients reads, you tell us what the investment is, we have no investments to sell you, and when we don't have investments to sell you, we'll hold anything the IRS allows. But you got to tell us what that investment is. And there's a specific process on how we take an IRA and buy real estate. And we'll talk about that here toward the end. But the common investments that we see here at Directed IRA, and we've got about $2 billion under management in assets, all alternative assets. Most of them have something to do with real estate. It doesn't mean it's fee simple real estate. It doesn't mean it's always a single family rental, but it can be land. It could be promissory notes secured by real estate. It could be private stock. It could be tax lien certificates. Some of the most common, I would say the top 3 or 4 investments we see are all real estate related. They're either investments into syndications, multifamily, single family rentals and flips, promissory notes secured by real estate. And we'll talk a lot about that, but usually it has to do something about real estate. Those are the investments we hold. And I'll talk about the benefits of why people like real estate so much inside of a self-directed retirement plan. Well, one of the things that's vastly different with, let's just say, a rental property or a mobile home or anything that's got renters in it, okay? First of all, that investment's tangible, right? An investment property, a single family property, a multifamily property, a mobile home, it's tangible. You could drive by it, you could touch it, you could feel it. When's the last time you your mutual fund? When's the last time you touched a stock or a bond? If you're invested in a stock in a certain company and that company goes belly up, you're left with nothing. You're left with a useless piece of paper that's a stock certificate of a company that's no longer in existence. But with real estate, even if you buy real estate in an IRA or outside of an IRA, what's the worst that can happen to your real estate? If you have debt on it, you might not pay the debt. But if it burns to the ground, you have insurance that'll cover your loss on that because it's a tangible asset. So the reason I bring that up is most of our clients at Directed IRA are not real estate investors. They like real estate in their retirement plan, though, because it's tangible. Okay? They have some of their investments over in their mutual funds, but they like to hold tangible investments because tangible investments are harder to disappear. The other advantage to investing in just alternatives in general is the fact that you can diversify your overall retirement portfolio outside of Wall Street. This has actually been a growing thing that people have had on their minds is people, I'm just speaking in generalities, are less confident about Wall Street than they have been in the past. Now, I'm not saying that as an opinion. I'm saying that based on the trends that we see and where money is being invested, there's biggest increase towards alternatives than there ever has been in the entire history of investing. Now, part of that is the reason that because of the age of information and the fact that you can find investments online, alternatives are now more accessible to people that didn't know about them before. Truthfully, people have been investing their IRAs in alternatives since the mid 70s. But back then, you didn't know about it unless you knew somebody that was buying apartment buildings or you knew somebody. It was a investment class for the in the know. Now more people know and understand it. And a lot of times, if you really look at it, there's a lot of advantages to owning real estate in a retirement plan when you think of real estate as an appreciating asset and an asset that can collect cash flow through rents. And when you apply that investment to an IRA, well, depending on the IRA, first, all IRAs are tax exempt. So you don't pay any taxes when you buy and sell property. There's no capital gains tax to an IRA. You can reinvest all of the capital into the next deal. So all of your investments in an IRA grow at least tax deferred. But if you use specific accounts like a self-directed Roth or a self-directed Roth 401k, or even a health savings account or an education savings account, these are accounts that we have here at Directed IRA. Those are accounts that not only grow tax free, but also the distributions are tax free. So if you put appreciating and cash flowing assets in tax free accounts, you'd be surprised how much easier it is to get to retirement versus just investing in real estate with your own money as a taxpayer. But the ultimate benefit to a self-directed IRA is it just puts the keys in your hand. You get to decide what the investment is. And then us at Directed IRA, we just act as the custodian. We tell you what we need to buy it, and then we hold it for you until you decide to take distributions. But when we say the word self-directed, don't get confused with self-directed. Self-directed is just a marketing term. Okay? It means nothing. There's no difference between a self-directed IRA and an IRA. An IRA is an IRA is an IRA. They're all governed by the same set of rules. We just call it self-directed because you have to find the investments. We don't have investments to sell you. And here's the 6 IRAs or 6 tax-exempt accounts that we have here at Directed IRA that can all invest in alternatives. And we have a lot of people that set up self-directed traditional IRAs, self-directed Roth IRAs. If you're self-employed, you can invest through a self-directed SEP IRA, even a solo 401k. If you're a small business owner, you've got a side hustle, you've got your own business, no common law employees, no W-2 employees. The solo 401k might quite possibly be one of the best wealth building tools for real estate investors, especially if you use a Roth 401k. And we even have non-retirement plans that you can use to invest in real estate or all alternatives. Health savings accounts have been talked about a lot. There's some benefits to setting up a health savings account right now. I can talk about that offline. But even education savings accounts, we have accounts that can be self-directed, but you can use the income derived into that account to pay for your health expenses for your family with tax-free dollars or education expenses for your kids or your grandkids with completely tax-free dollars. So when you look at these plans, just remember or think to yourself, all of these plans here are not taxpayers. They're all by definition tax exempt trusts. You put money in as a contribution, you tell it what to invest in, but then as the investments grow, these plans don't pay taxes. You do the same investment outside of an IRA, you pay taxes, I pay taxes because we're taxpayers. So if you can maximize these accounts and really set up every account you qualify for, you'll find that you have more money left over in your back pocket because you get Uncle Sam out of the equation when it comes to your investments, whether it's stocks, mutual funds, or real estate. So as we transition into the different types of investments you can put in a self-directed IRA, I want to bring in our special guests, James and Alden Guajardo. If you guys want to jump on, uh, me and James and Alden run into each other monthly, I'll say. We probably run into Alden weekly because he's out there, but they are a big part of ASRIA. If you guys are in the Phoenix area, you guys really need to be a part of ASRIA. And I've got to know these gentlemen, and they are really experts in the industry of mobile home investing. And they're going to talk about, the markets and how these investments work. And then at the end, we'll tie it into self-directed IRAs as well. So welcome, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys sharing some time with us. Maybe tell the audience a little bit about yourself and then go ahead and share your screen and jump into it.
Absolutely. Well, we're happy to be here today with a directed IRA. We're Win Mobile Homes, Mobile Mailbox Money, and Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. I'm Alden Guajardo. This is my father.
I'm James Guajardo, president of Win Mobile Homes and Mobile Mailbox Money. Alden is Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, is actually my partner in all the businesses. We've got a lot of opportunities that in low-cost housing, which is our primary focus. And we just want to talk to you a little bit about it today on the use of your self-directed IRA and how that could be a great benefit to you in your real estate bucket of investments. So Alden's actually keying up, I think, our website, which is winmobilehomes.com. Just to let you know, winmobilehomes.com was started in 2016. Alden came on as a partner of mine. My vision as a father always was to have my kids follow along with me in business and have a family-owned business. So I'm really excited for that to have happened. And Alden's groomed with me, and we've grown and developed. I'm the old man, so I've learned a lot actually, I've learned a tremendous about social media. Amazing what type of business that can be done in social media and staying in connection with investors and opportunities. Social media is a big key. So it used to be just a website and personal phone calls. Now people can stay up to date with, what do you have now? TikTok and YouTube?
Yeah, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. But that's manufactured housing, buying and selling mobile homes here in Arizona. We've grown tremendously over the past couple years with our presence on social media. We've bought, rehabbed, and resold 250 manufactured homes here in the local market of Arizona. And being on the directed IRA platform, it's great to see, the different alternative investments that someone can facilitate out in the market, and being a niche in the market that's kind of fitting for what's going on currently in the financial crisis and the affordable home ownership programs that we have to offer. We feel it really kind of fits for investing in alternative assets and directing your IRA potentially into manufactured housing.
As we talk about that, we focus primarily on the Arizona market. Nate, before we came on live with him today, was asking that to us of, hey, where are mobile homes? How many mobile homes are in the market in comparison to Texas or other markets? And we estimate, and we've even heard through ASRIA, Of the total single-family homes in Maricopa County, as an example, about 10% of the total amount of single-family homes are actually mobile homes. You normally wouldn't really see them. They're everywhere in Mesa market area, even in the West Valley, like Sun City area, South Phoenix, North Phoenix. There are pockets of mobile home parks all over the valley, and it really, a lot of people don't realize the opportunity for an investment strategy. Right now, across the country, as Alden mentioned, we're dealing with a real serious crisis on affordable housing. The average consumer market, and even kids coming out of college, they are being groomed through BlackRock and other institutions to satisfy and just be okay with renting. When I'm the old man of the group, we grew up with the idea of home ownership. Get married, have a wife, couple kids, and a dog, and own a home. That was the whole thing of the American dream. We're trying to replay that in the low-cost housing market. It's a little bit unique, a little bit different, but we do give the opportunity for someone to get into home ownership. And that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today, which is the note aspect and note side of it.
Which is really, the golden nugget out in the market right now, to have a secured, tangible asset outside the stock market that potentially procures income, right, to your IRA, tax deferred through that strategy, but to earn potentially double-digit returns in manufactured housing, opposed to the comparison of a residential real estate return and the capital requirement needed out in the market. It's interesting to see, side by side what that looks like. So why does a note fit for an IRA investor wanting to ultimately diversify from a residential note to a manufactured home note? What are those two kind of, pros and cons that we can talk about here today?
Yeah, and as you talk about that, and I used to be a custom home builder in the Phoenix metro area and South Scottsdale area was our specialty. Today, in today's environment, if you're a note investor and you want to do notes, it's really become super unaffordable. The average note in Maricopa County is about 400,000 on the low end.
And what's the rate on that?
On
Potential of a residential.
Right, like 6, 7, or 8% that you're getting over a 20 or 30-year term if you want to hold a note in single family homes, because the balance is so high. We actually look at that as an alternative for us of what we can do, where an investor can take, instead of buying one asset or one note at around 8% at 400,000, they could probably invest in how many?
3 or 4 in manufactured homes that ultimately garnish a higher rate of return on average in comparison to residential properties. And well, why does that fit out in the market, and why is that a stable return? Ultimately, we are trying to figure out what the security, what the hedge is on the investment strategy. So that being said, to see, say, a $80,000 note purchase opposed to a $400,000 residential note purchase out in the market on a manufactured home, you're getting anywhere from a 10 to 14% face rate on that note, which is highly competitive in comparison to a residential note, facilitating more lower acquisition as well as a higher base rate, ultimately translating to a return on investment for that acquisition as a personal property manufactured home note, right?
Yeah, and if you think about it, diversifying your investment is probably the very most important thing, and leveraging out the capital that you actually have available, and trying to get it into a situation where, with us, as an Alden mentioned, an average of, call it, a $80,000 note at 400,000, 8 times 5 is 40. So that's 5 actual notes that you could diversify at an average rate of anywhere from 10 to 14% in comparison to one note on single family homes.
So the affordability also of these homes was really interesting to look and ultimately validate of, why is that a stable asset out in the market? You're comparing residential real estate transaction to a manufactured home. A lot of investors have that negative connotation towards manufactured housing. Well, it's interesting to see out in the market of why the numbers make sense on a manufactured home note. Well, that note matches market rent,
Right.
right? It matches the available housing out in the market, whether rental or definitely lower than purchasing right now with rates at 6.5% and average purchase prices of 650. But that being said, if it matches market rent and the borrower's ability to repay,
Right.
right? That note was underwritten, qualified. What specific criteria did those individuals fit?
So if you're an investor that's looking out there, the bottom line is that you really, just as much as myself as an investor, I want to invest in something that has a good underwriting behind it. It has a lean position, which is always a discussion. Those are the meat and potatoes of the business of the actual deal. So we want to give you an idea of what a buyer has to go through, which is really important on an investment strategy, what your prospective buyer had to go through in order to become the homeowner while you're the lender. You're acting like the bank on the deal.
Ultimately providing validity to the stability of that note, right?
Right,
The
right,
note's secured by a lien and the borrower's ability to repay. How
right.
was that qualified? What specific criteria did they fit? Usually 600 credit, no past criminal, no open bankruptcies, no past evictions, and verifiable income. If they don't have a credit score, it's ITIN. A lot of international tax identification number, clients facilitating the ability to repay. That's ultimately the seller finance transaction.
So as we talk about that, we're a licensed note originator in order to do loans in the state of Arizona and Maricopa County. And as we do that, just know the buyer not only has to come to us and get qualified to actually be able to pay the note, right? The ability to pay. That's a great underwriting criteria. But just know that buyer also had to go to the mobile home park. Most of those parks are owned by institutions that are stock traded companies, and they have raised the bar in regards to their requirements of approving somebody. Probably, I would say two to three out of 10 actually get approved. We try to do a pre-approval process before we run them through the park, but just know they're first having to get approved with the park. The park will never take someone that has an eviction. So if anybody's ever had an eviction in their full past history, right?
Full history.
Full history. It doesn't matter what happened, if they have an eviction and didn't get it cleared up or whatever, that's a serious criteria. Number two, credit score. They've raised their credit score ratings of over 600 credit. That's actually pretty challenging if you think about it, with interest rates having gone up and credit cards going up, borrower debt has greatly increased. It really cuts out a tremendous amount of people. And what we end up with between no evictions, no criminal history, or limited criminal history, depends on the criminal history, verifying of income over 600 credit score, it weans out a lot of the people in the low cost housing sector, and the cream of the crop actually comes up and says, okay, this segment of people, the park is going to approve them. The park is saying they're approved. Then they have to go through a secondary approval process, and we have to approve and agree to actually create and set up a loan, because we look at it as, if we're going to sell this loan or we're going to put it into our fund, we have a fund called Silvercrest Opportunity Fund that investors that are accredited can invest in that specific fund. We will do the underwriting also to make sure that the best chance of that fund performing. Because at the end of the day, if you're an investor, what you really want is the best chance that whatever you're investing in is going to perform.
Hey, James and Alden, hey, tell us how you guys find these deals. Like where does a mobile home investment opportunity come from? And then when you guys find something or an opportunity, what's kind of the buy box? Like what do you guys look for as far as like the underwrite? I know we talked about FICO score and all that, but when you guys have a deal across your plate, what makes a good deal versus a bad deal?
Yeah, so it's highly location contingent, right? You're looking for a desirable area with mostly higher population density, with a high variety of mobile home parks. So as long as an individual can buy a mobile home in that area, on a financed payment for what they pay in market rent, right? That kind of backs it into your acquisition strategy. So the desirability of the area, people paying high rental rates potentially, with a close proximity to mobile home parks. You go into those parks, you find a house, some potential blight as far as the aesthetics of that property, not trying to find the heavier rehab sometimes, but acquiring that property for the more available square footage, so little higher beds and baths, 3 bedrooms, never a 1-1 is what we look for, and acquire that property at ultimately a cash price discount and some available hurt situation where recently inherited a house or the park itself is selling a property. We over the past 5 years have cultivated great institutional relationships with mobile home parks that take back homes within their portfolio, and they look for an operator such as a licensed dealer in manufactured housing to come in and re-cash flow that property. Ultimately, we bring private finance, so it looks, a lot more satisfactory to them. But
And I think
mobile
that
home
I
park.
think that's huge. I think that's huge that you guys have the relationships that will, with the parks, that if they take back a property, they're picking up the phone and calling you, I would assume, right? It's like no different than like a note buyer who's buying notes from a bank and they've got a banker
Right,
that will say, "Hey, we're trying to unload these notes. Are you looking to
Exactly.
buy?" Right? Guys like me, they're not going to call me, so I need to
right,
know guys like you. So that's pretty good. And you guys have been doing this for since 2016. Is that right?
right.
Just on mobile homes.
2016. And really, that's what's given us our edge. We're a licensed and bonded company operating primarily in Maricopa County and Pinal County. And through our relationship of just from buying multiples, working with park management, and our ultimate goal is to get to corporate because really most institutions have a real restriction with what you would deem as a flipper.
Yeah.
We try to come in a different component that we're there to help create and beautify the opportunities, the distressed opportunities that are within their park that they're not sure what to do with. That, obviously you have the same dilemma as single family homes. Those are the ones that normally get sold, the ones with high weeds and hoarder houses and everything like that. We get the same stuff. The hoarder house situation in a mobile home park, they finally got that person out, and now they need somebody that they can entrust that will actually take that house, bring it up to community standards or above community standards, and get it off of their books. The institution that owns the park, their main goal is to collect lot rent at the end of the day. And we've been working with them strategically to help get those blighted homes, get them back on the market, get them sold. The unique thing about this in comparison to house flipping is we can also provide the lending because the balance is such a low rate. Historically, like in the Midwest market, like Indianapolis or Tennessee or Chicago, historically we used to directly compete on note components, on doing notes, because someone could do a $50,000 to $80,000 note with us, or they could go to Memphis or to Indianapolis and they could get a 50, 60, $70,000 note on a single family home. But there's two components just to think about that. Number one, those prices have doubled now. So that $50,000 home now is 150,000 bucks. Interest rates is still low. We're at our rate really to our homeowner is 14%. Through our fund, it's 10, and we guarantee the note within the fund itself. So there's a big opportunity of working with us in regards to the business process and our relationships with the institutions. So they're technically feeding us deals left and right every single month. They'll feed us deals. In comparison to historically, we would have to go out and search for the deals and try to find them.
Yeah, which is highly unique to be actually creating these opportunities on a regular basis out in the market. With the available open door of opportunity here in Arizona, we could potentially double, triple our business just here in the state, just because, high non-competitive environment, not that many people are buying and originating notes on manufactured housing. What are some of
Yeah,
the other
it's
factors?
very limited. And just to know, as you know, it's a tough thing during this month of November with the hurricanes that come into Florida, but it gives an additional rise and reason why we do the Arizona market. We've had multiple institutions that have multiple mobile home parks here, and they have them in Florida. And I'm so thankful that we have not done the investment in the Florida market. Number one, it's so far away, you're 6 hours away on a direct flight. But number two is the hurricanes and taxes and lack of insurance and so forth, where Arizona is a very stable environment. A lot of people don't realize and think so much of why is Arizona and Maricopa County consistently a top 5 market in the United States. It's we don't have that drama, and we have continued appreciation based off of the demand of people moving to the market. We'll take that whole component traditionally of regular real estate, single family investing, and realize that the average price for a home has gone up so high that there's a tremendous amount of people in that market, in this market, that earn 40, 50, $60,000 a year, which is historically has been a reasonable rate. You can't buy a house for that. You're going to be a renter forever. You can buy in low cost housing, manufactured homes on leased land
Yeah,
and
and I, and
parks.
I don't,
So
again,
it,
I think this goes outside of, Phoenix. Now I moved to Phoenix 2 years ago, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted you guys on is you see mobile homes all over the place. I mean, it's like you guys said, 10% of housing in the Phoenix metro area are mobile homes. And I think there's a lot of reasons to that, but also when you look at it, I believe Phoenix is one of many cities that the average median home price has now exceeded what somebody can qualify with the average median income. It's the first time in US history that the average median home price exceeds what you can qualify for with an average median income. So now people are
right.
looking at, different strategies, affordable housing, mobile homes, ADUs, right? Trying to put more property on the same amount of land. I mean, we're trying to condense everything, but mobile homes has been around, and I just see it growing as popularity. And one thing that we talked about, just to give you guys an idea, when you use a self-directed IRA to invest in real estate, you can use all the creative real estate strategies that are available out there. Wholesaling, partnering, joint venturing, notes secured by the real estate. The same things you can do with single family are the same things you can do with mobile homes. So we talked a little bit about that. What can you guys talk about the differences though? And I'll share a little bit too. Can you talk about maybe the differences in those strategies? Because some may play out well, and some I'm sure you guys have seen it. Some of you're like, no, we don't do that with mobile homes because of this. Can you share a little bit about that?
I'd like to chime in there for a second, but I want to give you guys a name of a program that we actually, a person that we actually follow. Our business model is specifically built around a Warren Buffett strategy. And hopefully, raise your hand if you've ever heard of Warren Buffett. We all want to do what Warren Buffett is doing. Warren Buffett owns the largest manufactured facility, which
Two of the largest manufacturers of mobile homes in the country, Clayton and Cavco,
yes,
and 21st Mortgage did 90% of the manufactured home loans last year. So you've got all these different strategies, right? You can buy and flip a mobile home for cash, right? That's some element of risk. There's some market volatility in there. Depending on someone's business acumen in a buy and flip strategy, that may not be for them. It may at the end of the day. So there's some strategy behind that. You could buy and rent a mobile home out and be a landlord, right? That's a potential opportunity. That comes with its small challenges of landlord and tenant relationships. You know, my toilet's clogged, I've got termites, things of that nature. And a lot of the mobile home parks don't even
Right.
allow people to rent out mobile homes, scarce availability as far as a rental strategy and manufactured housing. What we've come to find out is the availability to seller finance. So say someone bought a mobile home. I saw some in the chat actually talking about that the park didn't allow them to rent it out. Well, what availability you could do is seller finance that property, ultimately providing an underwriting criteria, right, to qualify for that note. And then you have an exit strategy that's more passive return, right? So you could wholesale a mobile home, you could buy and flip a mobile home for cash, you could buy and rent it out and get that potential, monthly income, or seller finance. So, that's a potential program as well.
So those are on the front end, as Alden mentioned. The biggest challenge within the rental component, just as a reminder, is most mobile home parks don't want you to rent. They want to get verification that the person that got qualified to move into the park actually owns the actual unit. We're in a unique situation. We happen to have a license in order to originate notes. So that gives us the right to do a owner carry based program, which is kind of a one step up from doing a rental program. The people now are homeowners. They're so excited. I mean, you don't understand, when no one else would give them a chance, they got a chance through us to actually become a homeowner. The other thing on the side, just to know, just as much as myself as an investor, everybody wants to make sure not only is the person qualified, but what does my lien look like? Do I have a lien on the property? And that's always been a super question, because as an example, if most people are here in Maricopa County, if you buy a single family home and you do this investment strategy, you rent it out or whatever, the lender actually gets a lien position on the property through a national title service like Fidelity Title or whatever title company that's out there. I actually brought a sample of what we have. So we're a little bit different, but just know you still have a secured lien on that asset if you're a lender. So here's an example. This is almost like a car title. It says ADOT Motor Vehicle Division, if you can see that. Oh, up there.
Mhm.
And these liens, this is just as solid as a regular single family home lien. The lien is never released. Number one, the lien is never released until the homeowner pays it off. Number two, the lien holder holds the specific title. Not only do they get a lien through the DMV, it's like a car lien, but they actually hold the title. So they have almost like a double security position on that specific property. So everybody grabs these specific titles. It's a title. You want to put it in a safe location or a safe in itself and hold on to it for long term. And you never have to release the lien until your loan is actually paid off. That gives you your position.
Let me add to that, because again, I'm not in the business to tell you guys what you should or you shouldn't invest in, but that's a huge thing to think about when you invest in anything, whether it's with a retirement account or not. But it's stocks don't give you that level, in my mind, that level of tangibility, even as a lender, that you are secure. Your money, your investment is secured by something of collateral that's tangible, whether it's
That's
single
it.
family or it's a mobile home. I personally, and I've said this on many programs, I like to lend. Does that mean that owning real estate, whether it's single family or mobile homes in an IRA, is bad? No, not at all. But I like to loan out of my IRA, whether it's a mobile home, and I've done a loan on a mobile home once before. So, and it was a great investment, by the way. And here's some of the reasons why, because I'm getting a lot of questions, and I want to tie a lot of these questions in. A lot of people are asking, well, if you own the property, can you use it for personal use? No, no investment in your IRA you're allowed to use for personal use, whether your IRA owns a single family property, a multifamily property, a vacation rental, or a mobile home. Your IRA is supposed to be used as an investment vehicle. So only investment properties can go into your IRA. Now, investment properties are widespread. You don't have to own the investment property either. You can own a note secured by the investment property, which is a lot of what Alden and James have been talking about. That's primarily what I do in my retirement plan for a couple reasons. One, it's passive to me. I loan money out and then I just get interest payments back to my IRAs. Now, the reason why lending is so advantageous as an IRA is if I lend my personal money on anything, I have to pay income taxes on interest earned as an individual. Interest earned to my IRA is not taxable. So there's a huge a pendulum shift, I would say, with lending out of an IRA versus lending with personal funds. The other thing too, and this is just, we're going to get a little bit advanced. So if you guys are already like, this is too much information, just plug your ears for this part. But this is important for you guys to know. We talk a lot about UBIT, and UBIT is a tax that kicks into an IRA on certain investments, not all investments, certain investments. Mobile homes, if it's not tied to the land, is really considered in the IRS's eyes personal property. Okay, personal property, if you own any personal property in an IRA and you lease it out, the IRA is subject to that UBIT tax. Doesn't make the investment bad, it just means the IRA's got to pay a little bit of tax on the income. If you're a lender, there's no UBIT. So just by being passive and owning the note, you don't own the property, you don't have to worry about any UBIT tax. But you put your IRA in a position to own, and again, I'm not saying it's bad, but you do have to account for the UBIT tax if your IRA owns a manufactured home or a mobile home not tied to the land directly. So again, there's some advantages to being a lender. Now, could you wholesale mobile homes in an IRA? Sure, you can. Can you get some seller financing? Can you do some creative stuff? Sure, you can. Can you own a mobile home park in your IRA or partner IRAs together? But sure, you can. But just understand the differences between owning and being passive, and you can do all of the above. And ultimately, it's your decision when it's your IRA. We'll just tell you, here's how we fund it. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we got a lot of questions on that. Again, I want you to tell the story real quick, James, if you don't mind. Tell the story how you pivoted from single family to mobile homes. You talked about how you were teaching or single family investing in Asria, and then you made a pendulum shift back in 2016.
So I taught at Asria, I think, for about 4 or 5 years. I actually was on KFNN Financial Radio for 2 or 3 years, did the real estate hour on investing in single family homes. We actually held the note or held the contract for Marshall Reddick Group, which is the largest real estate investment group in California. We held the contract for about 4 years with them. When house prices in single family homes in 2009 to 2014, you could buy at that time a $250,000, $300,000 home was selling at auction steps for $50,000. Alden actually used to go and drive those homes while they were going live at auction at the courthouse steps. And I had my guys at the courthouse steps, and Alden was driving around with the list in El Mirage. We were the largest buyer at one time of all the El Mirage 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. You know, the reality of it is the market changes. At one time, we owned over 150 houses just in El Mirage. We were the largest buyer and holder. We ended up getting bought out by one of the hedge funds, I'll think of their name, Colony Capital, who bought us out of all of our homes. And we thought, wow, that was great. We sold an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and that we had an average cost with a rental of about $800 a month. We had an average cost of $60,000. We sold all those homes for about $120,000. We're like, we've sold at the top of the market, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1980 and newer home with the 2-car garage in the West Valley of Phoenix. It'll never go above 120,000. Well, I think it went a little bit above 120,000 since then. But that's how I actually kind of got in deeper into real estate and the opportunities of the market. And subsequently, when that market kept continuing to go up, we got into ground up construction and doing small multifamily. When COVID hit, for me personally, COVID was we couldn't get out of the COVID component relative to our lending component. And at the same time, actually, I was challenged on what am I doing to help people out, or am I just looking to just make as much money as I can and don't worry about people in general. We're here at the end of the day. We're here on this earth. We're called to serve and help other people, and it's kind of unique as to actually how this happened. Alan Langston let me start teaching real estate investing at Azria, and I did that for multiple years, and we did it for free. We never charged a dollar. And a guy came in and he started talking about investing in mobile homes and low cost housing, and that's really how it kind of came into play. So about 4 years there, we specifically focused on the opportunities of, in 2016, we were really focusing on transitioning over into low cost housing. And at that time, you could pick up a mobile home from a park for like $1,000 to $2,000. They were just trying to get them, and they still want to get them off the books, but the value of the even mobile homes and parks has really started to go up. But it's still the way that we do it and the component how we work it. It really makes sense still, because if we can provide a loan to somebody at the end of the day and they're paying what would they be paying in market rent, and we can create an opportunity to match an investor, or we hold it through our Silvercrest Opportunity Fund website, then everybody wins. And that's why we use the name Win Mobile Homes. That's actually how we started the name.
I just want to remind people, if you guys have questions, type them into the chat box, or sorry, not the chat box. Let me rephrase that. Type your questions into the Q&A box, because I'm going to start throwing some questions your guys' way, and I can't keep track of all the ones in the chat. But let me get this one from John Harold to you guys. It says, sounds like they're discussing chattel mortgages secured by the home but not the land, which is owned by the mobile home park. Can you address that question for us?
Correct. Yeah. So it is considered personal property on leased land. It's not technically in combination with the residential property. It's a personal property title for the manufactured home itself.
Right. But if you have a lien, now if you're on the lender side, you still have a promissory note, I would assume, and then you still have the
Correct.
security document. But in this case, it's not a deed of trust; it's the document through the DMV, correct?
Correct.
Title.
Yeah.
You actually have
So
title in that case.
it's on title. So that
On
lien
title.
is on title. There can't be any changes or reprints or anything like that unless the lien holder is satisfied.
Okay, and then what happens? Here's another question from Kimberly, and I'll get your other question, Kimberly, after this one. But so, she asked, "What if they're not paying their lot rent in the park?"
Great point. Yeah. So ultimately, the community itself will take their brunt of their legal staff to ultimately usher that forward in a 40-day process. So within 40 days of non-payment, you are getting either notified by the community, because they do a lien search on title through the county records. Call up the lien holder, say they're behind, and ultimately they'll ask what's going on, obviously, from the investor or whoever holds the note, and put that individual back they'll be through the eviction process at that point. Over the 40 days, reinstitute title. So the lien holder will retake title. There will be some small fees due to the community, but they did all the work for you at the end of the day. They evicted the client, ultimately notified you of what was going on. And 9 times out of 10, if they're not paying the lot, they're probably not paying the loan at the same time. So there's a combination effort between the community and the note holder. But if you let the community do it, obviously they'll usher it forward in their processes.
Just to let you know, in regards to that, because the parks have really raised their bar in regards to verifying and validating income, ability to pay, and so forth. And then we double verify the buyer through our ability to pay program. Our default rate is thankfully it's very, very nominal in regards to that. In fact, in the last 2 years, I don't think that we've even had one default in 2 years, which is amazing. And hopefully that holds true all the way through from moving forward. But it's really qualifying the actual buyers to make sure they're a quality buyer.
But it's good
And
to
I
see
gotta
what happens in the event if it does default. Within 40 days, you're getting that property back. and you're ultimately putting it back for sale. You know, there's people looking for mobile homes in the area ultimately. So re-cash flowing that property shouldn't be anything arm and a leg by any means. What's the average cost of the eviction?
So
It's
average
about
cost for
$1,000
eviction
maybe.
is a $500.
Yeah.
But let me throw this out real quick because we talk about investment strategies relative to single family homes and to mobile homes and parks. So there's a super difference sitting right there. In Arizona, Arizona is a trustee deed state, right? So you're allowed to go 90 days late before you're even in default. So you go on a single family home, you go 90 days late, then you have 90-day cure period of during your default process. And anytime within that total 6 months, you could cure it. And then ultimately, you could go to courthouse steps and actually property sold at courthouse steps. So that's 6 months that the investor has no payment. They had to hire an attorney. The attorney ends up hiring the trustee who does the call out to get their asset back. 6 month wait time. On our program, it's like 45 days. And
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say that's extremely fast. That's even
it's
faster than,
extremely fast.
yeah, that's faster than the fastest states, where you can foreclose on single family, like Texas, the
Right.
fastest you can get a property if you really got all your ducks in a row is like 90 days.
Right.
So
So
it's the
things
fastest
are
that I
going to
know of.
happen. Yeah.
And our objective obviously is not to push it to the ninth hole on every situation. You know, we're wanting people to stay in their homes. Maybe we provide one deferred payment and put it on the back end and things of that nature. We're cognizant of the situation, but it's good to know how
Yeah.
quickly it could go at the end of the day. There's
And I think I
processes.
know how to answer, and I think I know how to answer Tony's question. Tony, thanks for the question, but you guys tell me if I'm wrong. It says if the owner stops paying, how do you collect foreclosure? I think we kind of went over that on the lien and get title back. You never release title, right? You have the title. If you're the lender, you have the title. It's just like having a car title, right? They don't get the title until the loan is satisfied. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah, and then
Okay.
once you have a secured lien on title, no changes or reprints or anything can happen without the lien holder's notification, right?
Right. So, and
So
as you talk about on default, it's a very seamless, easy process. Once we go through the eviction and have notice, we actually have an attorney company on staff, not on staff, but actually on regular retainer, very cost effective, very fast and efficient. And just as soon as that's done, we can gives us the right to go straight to the DMV and get the lien, convert the lien essentially back to a title, and they immediately mail us a new title now we own the specific asset and it's out of that person's name that was in default. It's a very fast process.
yeah, it sounds like it. Any final thoughts? Maybe your guys' thoughts on where you see the mobile home market going? I know you guys work specifically in Phoenix, but you guys have got a better pulse on this market than anybody that I know. Where do you guys see mobile homes in the next 12 months?
So one thing that you really want to think about, it follows the same market component relative to single family homes. Some of these houses that we're rehabbing right now, let's call them 1980s houses, and they've survived from 1980 to 2024. So that's 20, 40, 44 years. We go in and fix those properties back up, redo the plumbing, electrical, whatever it needs to be done, and it's going to last another 40, 60, 80 years, whatever it is. The same thing holds true with a single family home. You get homes that are blighted and they need to get fixed back up. It's all still, everything follows on manufactured homes and parks of what's going on with the rental market. So if everybody thinks or somebody thinks, hey, rental market is going to plummet, houses are going to go back for rent for $1,000 a month. I think that we're dreaming in regards to that. I think we've created a stabilized market with companies like institutions like BlackRock. They're never going to let the rent ever go back down. That's their whole program across the entire United States. That gives us long-term forever stability that we know an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, or even a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house is going to rent for probably somewhere around 1,700 or higher above that. If lot rents stay at a reasonable, somewhat reasonable rate, and lot rents will creep up with institutions, but there's always going to be a margin between what lot rent is and what regular house rentals are or apartment rentals are, and that's what creates our margin for our notes.
I got another question, and I'll address this because it has to do with IRAs. Where was this? Somebody asked about mobile home parks and if owning a mobile home park. And we see this quite often, guys. Actually, it's more common than you would think of people pooling IRAs together to own a mobile home park and whether or not that investment will trigger UBIT. So most likely, yeah, if you got lot rents and it's just the boxes on top, again, that's still considered personal property. Doesn't make the investment bad. It just means that the IRA or the IRAs will have to account for the UBIT. Now, when we see investors invest in large scale assets like that, either a mobile home park, or you even see it in businesses, we have clients that use their IRAs to invest in operating businesses that also incur UBIT. It's not just mobile home parks, it's operating businesses too. If you're going to invest in something that has a considerable amount of income and potentially a large amount of tax that you have to offset, sometimes the better entity to set that up in is to have the IRAs invest in a C Corp. Okay. Now, why would you want to have an IRA invest in a C Corp? Well, the C Corp can buy the mobile home park. And this is just for IRAs, by the way. This is not a strategy you normally see outside of an IRA. But in the IRA world, we see this quite often. You've probably heard Matt and Mark talk about it as a C Corp blocker. This doesn't eliminate the tax. It just minimizes the tax if you're going to buy something like a mobile home park. Here's how it kind of works. The C Corp is owned by the IRAs. C Corps pay taxes. Okay, so when the C Corp owns a business, an operating business, or a mobile home park, the taxation on the income is going to be paid by the C Corp. The reason why you want that is because C Corps pay lower tax rates than IRAs. But once the C Corp pays the taxes, the IRAs get the dividends or get the distributions tax free. So it doesn't make it completely go away, but it does make it a lot less onerous if that's something that you want to invest in. So if you have more questions on that, you could book a call with me. We could talk a little bit about that. We also have our law firm, KKOS Lawyers, right upstairs. If you guys have more questions. We do have a lot of questions, and I will say this. Do you guys have contact information, James and Alden? Because we got a lot of people asking specifically about investing with you guys. And I just want to remind people, this is an educational webinar. We don't pitch investments on here. So even though they have a fund, I would say reach out to Alden, reach out to James directly if you guys want to know investment minimums and investment details. But why don't you share that information, Alden? How can they reach out to you guys if they're interested in learning more?
Well, what's the phone number, James?
602-888-CASH. So that's
Okay,
a easy number to
602-888 cash. I'm going to just type that in. All right, you guys save that. Gentlemen, it's been wonderful. You guys shared a lot. I was wowed by a lot of the things you said, especially with the foreclosure thing, the 45 days. I'm like, wow, that's huge as an investor, especially a lender, to know that if something goes wrong, you could take action on the collateral like almost immediately within 2 months. That's crazy fast. So that blew my mind. Any final thoughts from you guys as we kick it off today?
Just know that we have our website up, which we didn't talk about, which is our note site. Anybody can go on the website and sign up. It's free. And our active notes that we have available that investors could invest in is mobilemailboxmoney.com. Obviously, they can call us 602-888-CASH. That's an easy number to remember. And mobilemailboxmoney.com. That's our whole note site. silvercrestopportunityfund.com. Alden is the fund manager on it. So excited. It's a Reg D 506C accredited investor fund, which ultimately holds mobile home notes as well as has the envision of buying mobile home and RV parks down the road.
And if you
Awesome.
have social media, want to see what we have, walkthrough videos, client testimonials, mobile mailbox money on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook's pretty big for our Facebook group. So go check out some videos. I'd love to talk to each and every one of you.
Thanks, guys. And if you're in the Phoenix or Scottsdale area, come out to the ASRIA meeting. I'll see Alden and James there. I'm going to go there. It's going to be a huge meeting. They're doing it on Tuesday. They usually do it on Mondays, but it's actually tonight. If you guys are interested in talking a little bit more and you guys are in the area, we'd love to see you. So I know I got a lot of questions that they want questions for me. Just go to our website. If you guys want to book a call with me, it's just www.directedira.com. and click schedule a call. And you can schedule a call with any of my IRA account executives if you're interested in setting up a self-directed IRA to invest in alternative investments or real estate. Set it up with everybody, but you can find me at the bottom of the page. And I will tell you guys, we are running an end of the year promo for any account that you open. If you use the promo code Take Control 99, you get every account that you open for the first year annual fee of $99 instead of $395. So share that with your family, share that with your friends. We've never run an aggressive promo like that. It's only good until the end of the year. So take control of your retirement, take control of your financial future, use that Take Control 99, and we'll significantly reduce your first year's annual fee to make it cost effective for you guys. So James, Alden, I appreciate having you guys. I will see you guys later. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you guys on the next Directed IRA workshop.
And don't forget the Alt Asset Summit coming up at the end of this month. Big event.
Yeah, the Alt Asset Summit. If you haven't got your tickets, it's our thanks, Joe. Alden, you're doing my job for me. If you haven't got your tickets to the Alt Asset Summit, go to altassetsummit.com. It'll be at altassetsummit.com. James and Alden are actually one of our sponsors there. They'll be there. They'll have a booth. It's a 2-day educational event that we do once a year. We've only got GA tickets left, just to let you know. VIP is sold out. So you can still get virtual tickets right now, but you can also get discounted GA tickets if you want to come out. You just use the coupon code Nate100. It'll get you $100 off a GA ticket. But this is a 2-day educational event at the Orange Tree Resort next Thursday and Friday. And we've got but go to the website. You'll see all the speakers. It's going to be a phenomenal event. So thank you, Alden, for helping me with that. And thank you guys. Thank you, James, as well. I'll see you guys soon. And thanks for tuning in, guys. See you on the next one.
Thanks,
All right, bye-bye.